Hey, everybody. It's Ben. I don't know if the video's okay. Maybe I should show more of my body. Looks sort of weird. I don't think I'm high enough either. I guess I'll switch. I'll try to fix it. Okay, I zoomed out a little or in, whichever's funnier. Oh, that's too much. Darn. That's a little high, but that's okay. I don't see why that's bad. Hello to YouTube and everybody else. Let's see. Oh, this is Twitch. Wait, that doesn't look like. Wait, what happened? I was really high and now I'm not. Boy, I'm confused. Okay, I'm gonna put myself a little higher. That was weird. Okay, that's about the right height. That looks sort of normal. So I'll move over a little, more in the center. I haven't streamed in a long time because Archer and I went to Charlotte. I was going to say that I've been lying to you for the last week about the bookshelf and that Karen's kicking me out. And that's why there's no books there. Because that's what a lot of people think. And then I was going to say April Fools. But I decided not to do that. I'm getting a little too old for April Fools. I've done some good April Fools. But yeah, I don't know. I'm too old to do anything. When I was young, I used to believe in stuff. Who was the chief arbiter at the 2012 Motor City Open? There's two possibilities. Ed Mandel or me. Since you asked, I'm going to say me. But if you didn't ask, I would have said Ed Mandel. Me sounds about right. But Ed Mandel was the organizer, and he was arbiter also. 2008, yeah. I've also directed the Michigan Open, but I don't know if I was the chief arbiter. I don't think I was. I've directed more than 300 tournaments. Deputy Chief, North American FIDE Invitational. Well, I don't remember that. That's what FIDE says? Yeah, I don't remember. 2009, god damn. I don't even know where the North American FIDE Invitational took place. Maybe those are all April Fool jokes. I don't know. Sorry, I'm a bit tired tonight, which is a problem I have. I'm tired a lot. Skokie, Illinois. Doesn't seem like I would be the deputy chief arbiter of that. It doesn't even make any sense. Seems like I played in the tournament. Anyway, we're gonna look at my games from the Charlotte tournament. I didn't have a good tournament as usual. However, another older grandmaster who's even older than me, Alonso Zapata, he probably had the worst tournament of his life. He lost to 3 little kids. I didn't say he lost to 3 kids. I said he lost to 3 little kids. And one of them was 8 years old. I think the other 2 were probably about 10, but maybe 11, maybe. But one was definitely 8. So he lost a lot of rating points. Then I didn't do well, but Archer did really well. Archer's rating pre-tournament was 1920, and he beat a 2200 in the first round. Then he lost to a 2350. Then he lost to like a 2100. Then he beat a 2080, and then he drew a 2070. So Archer gained 35 rating points. Archer's last name is Watson. I don't think he has a FIDE rating, but the tournament was FIDE rated, so he might have a partial FIDE rating. He played up a section, which a lot of people did. His last name is Watson, Archer Watson. I don't know if he's on the FIDE site. You can have a FIDE performance in a tournament, but it's not an official rating until you've played at least 9 or 10 games. He only played 5 games, so he wouldn't have a FIDE rating unless he played in another 5-round tournament that was FIDE rated and got some kind of performance. Yeah, Spencer and I haven't spoken in over 2 years. As far as I know, he lives in New York State, but it's possible he doesn't, but he did. Yeah, I used to have a son. Now I have a stepson. Well, I have 2 stepsons. My older stepson, Karen's oldest son, is graduating MIT in May. So that's pretty good. I did something unusual in the tournament. I'm a D4 player, and I had white in... did I have white twice? Yeah, I had white twice. And I... Did I have white twice or 3 times? No, I had white 3 times. Oh, yeah, that's right. Anyway... the only 2 games I won, I played E4 on move 1 because I just felt like it. And those were the only 2 games I won in the tournament, was me playing E4, a move that I don't play unless I'm playing Blitz on the internet. Then I just do it because I never play E4. So I figure my whole chess life I'm going to play E4 a few times. Anyway, I'm very worried what's going to happen because I haven't streamed in 5 days. If somebody pushes exclamation mark stats, if we even have any subs anymore. So somebody do, yeah. Oh, we have 481. We didn't lose a lot of subs. We probably lost about 20. I thought it was going to say between 300 and 400. I was very worried. When I don't stream for a few days, we don't have any subs. Now, on Karen's screen, on the Twitch stream for Karen, it says, gift a sub 35% off. I didn't hear about that, but I can see it on her screen. So if you guys want to test that out, if you can click gift a sub 35% off, maybe gift one sub, and see if you guys save a lot of money. You'd save more money by not gifting a sub, but I need subs. Oh, that ended yesterday? It's still on her screen. So if I refresh it, it'll go away. Let's refresh it and see if it goes away. Yeah, I refreshed it and it went away. Well, in that case, don't give subs. Wait, still give subs. I did play 5 kids. I played nobody over 18. And I made the joke at the tournament that I was the oldest player and Archer was the second oldest. There were kids between 7 and 12 years old on every board of the open section. And often there were 2 little kids playing each other on high boards, like 11 each, 12 each. God damn. And I'm probably going to play in the Alto tournament in 3.5 weeks, and everybody has to be 21. So I'm probably going to play there because Charlotte's having a 1-day camp on Friday, and I can teach a class there and get paid a small fee. And they usually give me free hotel. So, and I'm trying to get Karen to go. Karen won't go for 2 reasons. The main reason is if we have Archer that weekend, then she can't go because she has to watch Archer. The other reason she won't go is she plays poker on the weekend and she does a lot of work around here, and we have the dogs. And it's a disaster if she goes. But I want her to go and play an Alto. So, if we don't have Archer that weekend, there's a small chance she'll come and play, but it's pretty small. So it's likely that I'll go and I'll play an Alto and she won't. Yeah, we take the dogs to boarding. Expensive. Karen's not a big chess player now. She prefers poker. Okay, we're on Chess TV, so I can start doing what I'm supposed to do. Okay, so this is the first round of the Charlotte Spring Open. This game was played Friday night a few days ago. My opponent is Steve Alapat. His rating is like 2050, something like that. I wrote the ratings down on... Actually, no, I didn't write the ratings down on the score sheet. So I don't know. Anyway, he's a kid, just like everybody I played. I had the white pieces. Time control is game in 110 with a 10-second increment. Okay, he played the Sicilian. And in this position, in tournaments, I usually play c3. And to be perfectly honest, I don't do well against knight f6, e5, knight d5. I don't play white very well in those positions. I had a couple bad losses. But my opponent played d5. And this is the move order that Alyssa Melakina played when she was an active player. And I coached her in the World Junior Girls Championship over the internet. She was in Poland, I think. I'm not sure it was Poland, but I think it was Poland. And we would prepare for her games every night for the next morning. And I played the line that Alyssa played because I analyzed it with her, e5. And I think Alyssa had this 3 times in Poland and she went 3-0. Also, I don't mind having white in the advanced French. So if black plays knight c6, I play d4, and Alyssa had advanced Frenches too, and she won all of them. But I haven't studied this in 10 years. But okay, I mean, want to play something I don't always play. A Freak in the Sheet subscribe, thank you. Okay, so he played d4. That's one of the main moves. And now I know you play bishop to d3, and eventually you play bishop e4. So that's about all I remembered. And then that's correct. Lots of grandmaster games in this position. Played knight c6. I castled. Played knight e7. And in this position, there was a Fabiano Caruana game where he played bishop e4. But I was worried about my e5 pawn when black can play queen c7 and knight g6. Didn't want to sacrifice a pawn on move 7. So I played rook e1 to, bolster my pawn, and my rook's better on e1 than f1. That's fine. A6 is not a novelty, but it basically is. It's not been played at the top level. In this position, the engine says bishop e4 and a4 are equally good. I played a4, b6. Engine says white is better by about 0.5. So the opening has been a success. Knight a3 is correct. Bishop b7. And this is the first time in the game I did something the engine doesn't like. And what the engine does like is a bit confusing. Although, no, in this position I played bishop e4. That's correct. Knight d5. And this is the position I was talking about. The engine wants me to play knight c4. And I thought if I played knight c4, he would play b5. But in this position, the engine says I can take on d5, which I didn't see. And if you take the knight, then I'm a pawn up. I play bishop takes pawn. If you take with the queen, I win the exchange. And if you take with the e-pawn, then knight d6 check, it says is winning for white. Although, I mean, I don't see right away why it's winning for white. But in this, obviously they take. In this position, the engine says king d7 is better than king f8. Well, if I thought black would play king d7, and I saw this variation, I would like it. In this position, it says white's +3, even though it's equal material and my pawn's hanging. So I don't know why. Okay, I'm looking at what the engine gives, and it's very strange. Okay. So anyway, the best move is knight c4. The chess.com engine and my chess-base engine both say so. And they say white has an advantage of about 0.6. Okay, so I moved the right piece, but not to the right square. Played knight c2. And now I have a small advantage. And I'm going to win the d4 pawn, which isn't the end of the world for black, because often black sacrifices the d4 pawn and has good compensation. Okay, the engine likes what black did. Black played rook b8, defending his bishop. I took, which is correct. The engine wants him to take with the pawn. He took with the knight, which is what I expected. And in this position, after I trade, the engine wants me to play d3 and says I'm better by about 0.4. But I'm not sure why. The black's position seems fine to me. That's what I thought during the game. So I thought, I went through a lot of trouble to win a pawn, so let's win a pawn. Then the engine says it's about equal now. He played knight b4, which is correct. I played knight f3, which is also correct. Now he made a move the engines don't like. They want him to play knight d3. Knight d3 is a very logical move. He played bishop takes e4, rook takes, queen d3. And in this position, it says that rook e3 and rook d4 both give white an advantage, but somehow rook d4 is better. My rook looks really strange on d4 because it can get trapped, and he has bishop c5 later or knight c2. So I didn't play rook d4, but supposedly that's a slightly better move. I played rook e3, and now in this position, he made a real mistake. It says he should play queen d5 or queen d7, and I'm up 0.74. He played queen c2. Let's see, I'm getting a text. Okay, that's unfortunate. Friend of mine, also a student occasionally, he was going to open a chess cafe and talked about it for about a month, and then he decided not to do it. I think it makes sense financially. Okay, I played queen e2, and he made another move the engine doesn't like, rook c8. And in this position, the engine says I'm just winning by playing rook c3, which I did. Now it says I'm winning. And he took, which is forced. I took with the b pawn, obviously. And in this position, he made a blunder, played knight d3, which is what I expected. Engine says he has to play queen d3, and white's winning anyway. Silvo6 subscribed, but there's different kinds of winning. That's a little bit winning, 2.6, but the way he played, I'm completely winning, but I missed it. Played knight d3. Now it says I'm plus 5.3. I played knight d4, which is the correct move. He played knight takes c1. And here I don't want to call it a blunder because I'm very close to winning after my next move, but I'm completely winning if I play the right move. And I didn't play the right move here. And I did not consider the right move. It didn't enter my thought process. So this is the first question I'll ask you guys. What's the best move for white here? And thanks again for subscribing, Silvo6. Well, I thought I was bad at chess, and then I saw your answers. God damn. Most of the moves that are suggested lose for white. I think Queen B5 was an April Fool's joke. I think resigns is better than Queen B5. Okay, so 3 people got the right answer. Answer's Queen F3. I didn't look at Queen F3, but the idea is I'm threatening his queen, and Queen A8 check or Queen C6 check. I think they both lead to checkmate. I think he's mated. I didn't see Queen F3. I didn't even look at it. I did look at Queen A6, and of course, he plays Queen D1 check, trades queens, and moves his knight away, and he's up a piece. So after Queen C4 or Queen A6, Queen D1 check should win for black. A lot of people suggested Queen F1 and Queen E1. I played Queen E1 because if I play Queen F1, he takes my pawn on D2. So Queen E1 is plus 1.7, so that's winning, but close. And Queen F3 is plus 5.5. So I'm just completely winning after Queen F3 because he can't stop me from harassing his king, and his pawns are all hanging, and he's getting mated. But yeah, I didn't look at Queen F3. It never occurred to me. I think if I looked at Queen F3 and analyzed it, I would have played it. But it never occurred to me to play Queen F3. It only occurred to me to play Queen E1 or Queen F1. The game usually ends after checkmate, but not when it's April Fool's. Okay, so I played Queen E1, so I'm still sort of winning. Now his queen's attacked. Played Queen D3. I correctly took. Played Bishop C5. I correctly played Queen E2. Traded. Played King D7. All these moves are engine moves after Queen E1. And I figure I'm playing a kid who's around 2050, and I'm a pawn up in a winning endgame. That should be my bread and butter. But I played this endgame terribly, and I let him equalize more than once. So the engine wants me to play F4, and I thought, his rook could come to C4, and my A-pawn's weak, and I have this big center, so I should push it. And the engine says no. It says, you suck. I played C4. That gives away half my advantage. And then in this position, I didn't play F4, although I almost did. And then I was like, I don't like F4. I'm going to play King F1 so my king gets over here quicker. King F1's terrible. Now the game should be a draw with correct play. He should play Bishop A3, but he played F6, which also is in the drawing zone. I played F4. We traded. And in this position, it's about the same which way I take, but I took with F-pawn, not seeing his counterplay. And now it says it's equal again. He checked, and then I did something I've almost never done in my chess career. I played King E1 relatively quickly, and my hand was still on my king. And then I was like, man, king e1's terrible. So then I play king g1, which is correct. And at this position, black should play bishop g5. And the engine says it's equal. I'm better after king g1. After king e1, I realized he has bishop b4 check, king d1, rook f1 check, king c2, rook f2. So after king e1, like, it's equal. So I played king g1. Luckily, my hand was still on my king on e1. Now it says I'm much better again. Okay, these moves are correct. And in this position, it says I should play rook d3, and that seems like during the game, I thought if I played rook d3, he'd move his bishop, and then I lose my c4 pawn. And then the engine gives some crazy nonsense. It says rook g3 and rook h3 and rook f3, and it says I give my pawn away, but I'm still better. That's beyond my pay grade. So I played rook c2 because that defends my pawn, and that's no good. Now it's equal again. Check. And in this position, I was pretty sure he was going to play rook f2. And after rook f2, the engine says it's equal. Engine also says it's equal after g5. Okay, but he played a strange move, bishop b4. That's no good, because now I can relocate my knight so that my rook defends f2 and my knight gets to a better square. So I played knight c1, which is the best move. So I alternate playing best move and ridiculous move. It's like every other move is either ridiculous or the best. Okay, and now I'm like in the zone again of like close to winning. He played bishop e7, which is another terrible move. And now it says I'm winning again. Now it says I'm up 1.7. Played rook c8. King g4 is the best move. Like knight c1's best, knight d3's best, king g4's best, and some of my moves are the worst. Now it says I'm up 2.6. Okay, and now I put the goddamn hammer down. And the final position looks like I destroyed him, even though I was like putzing up this endgame. Now, engine says I'm up 3.4 by playing d5, which I did. g6, d6. Now it's completely winning. Yeah, I finished the game off like really well, but I made some dumb moves before that. Well, now if he takes, I play knight takes check, and he can't save his e-pawn, and so forth. So he played rook f5, which allows me to play c6 check. God damn. Okay, and he played king c8. I played c7. So the problem black has is if he moves his bishop, I break through with my pawns. I play d7 check, king takes d7, and then c8 equals queen. That's actually my threat. Now, some of you think I'm threatening to take the bishop, which does win, and easily, but d7 check gives me a new queen. I'll play c8 queen. So here he should resign, but he missed that, and he played bishop takes c7. I'm a piece up for no pawns, so, you know, I'm not sure why he's playing on. Okay, and here I forced resignation by playing the best move. That was the next question I was going to ask you guys. What should white play here? Boy, there's a lot of craziness in the chat while I was talking about my game. Tensor extension banned you and your children's children. Why does everybody get the right answer? I want wrong answers so I can tease you. I want king g4. I want like knight b5 because you have the right move, but you have the wrong notation. Yeah, knight f2. There we go. Yeah. But he already wrote the right answer. Rook c8. Yeah, there we go. Those are the answers I want. Okay, I did play knight b4. And now the engine says it's mate in 6. Because I'm threatening knight c6 check. And then d7 check. And then d8 discovered mate. God damn. So the best move for black here is rook f7. That staves off mate the longest. That's mate in 6. Otherwise, it's mate in 5. So knight b4 was a good finishing move, which everybody found. Then my opponent resigned. The snake Benoni's fine at any level, except maybe the top 30 in the world. Then I wouldn't do it. So this is a weird game because I made a lot of good moves and a lot of bad moves. That's the way I play chess now. Sometimes I have it, and 25% of the time I don't have it. Then I play terrible. Sounds like when I'm playing poker. The chat's going a little crazy here. Did anybody in the chat play or get played by an April Fool's joke today? Yeah, that happens a lot, Bonarici. My mom is still a woman? That's an April Fool's joke? I played a British actor. I fooled myself, Jerry. I fooled myself. They fooled me. You have to say, you're saying it wrong. You have to say, they fooled me, Jerry. I'm not going to say it like that. Tiger Woods tweeted earlier today that his leg is healed or something, and he's going to play in the Masters. He made a remarkable recovery, and I was like, that's got to be an April Fool's joke. And then like an hour later, Tiger's like, yeah, that was an April Fool's joke. On the PGA Tour, you cannot ride a cart. However, there was a court case years ago where a guy had a disability and he said he should be given accommodation based on the American with Disabilities Act and he should be able to ride a cart. And I think the judge ruled in his favor. And then Jack Nicklaus said, this is an outrage. Like, you shouldn't let people ride a cart. Casey Martin, yeah. Will Ju Wen-jun defend? I expect her to. I wouldn't be surprised either way, but I think Ju Wen-jun's a better player. Okay, now we're going to look at round 2. Okay, in round 2, I played somebody who was high 2100s, 2170 maybe, I don't know, I don't remember. His name's Kevin Zhao. He's, little kid. I think he's 11 because he was listed in U.S. chess as one of the top 11-year-olds, like number 5 or something. So he was one of my oldest opponents. Okay, so we played 100 moves of theory, and at the end of theory, the engine says, I'm almost lost. So, truth hurts. This is a line that I play a lot. And I have good results in tournaments. The engine doesn't like it. So this is a rouser. And I used to play Bishop E7 and castles. And I had good results with that. And then for no reason, I started playing A6 and H6, which is probably worse. Okay, and he played what's been the main line for about 15 years, knight takes and bishop f4. I've had this on stream a lot. Usually I'm getting crushed and I, win one time or something. Okay, and usually they play h4 here. He played bishop e2, which is fine. Also played. And the strong grandmasters castle, and usually they get checkmated. I saw a lot of those games in my life studying the opening, and I was like, I'm not going to castle and get checkmated. That's what they all do. So I played knight d7, which is what I play, and the idea is to play e5 and d4. And in this position, irrespective of that, the engine says he should play h4. Well, I'm curious what's happening after e5. Is he sacking a piece? Bishop takes e5, knight takes e5, e takes d5, and basically white's winning. Okay. Yeah, if I move my knight, he plays d6. So h4 is the best move. He played queen g3, and now I made my first mistake, although you could argue, probably correctly, that this line is not good for black, and so the whole line's a mistake. But this is what I play. Truth hurts. Okay, so bishop g5 is the correct move, and the engine says white's advantage is minimal. Black has a big center, so that's good. Okay, so I played king f8, which is what I always play in this variation. I've had this position before, and Engine says white is big plus, hates black's position. But I have good results. This game, although I didn't lose, it's not a good advertisement for this line because I was basically almost lost or lost the whole game. So truth hurts. Okay, he played h4, which is good. And I played the move that I always play in this position, which Engine doesn't like. Probably I should play h5. I was too worried to play that. So I played bishop b7. I mean, a lot of people are challenging me. Okay. He played king b1, always play king b1. Now I should definitely play h5. I played bishop f6. He played bishop check. And then e5. And the Engine doesn't like him playing bishop d6 and e5 and says he's only better here. He's not much better. And here I should definitely play h5. I've played h5 in similar positions and similar pawn structures. So I'm not sure why I didn't. I played c5. I thought was the most logical move and best move, but Engine says no. He played h5. Engine also doesn't like. And here I miscalculated because I'm dumb. I should improve my position by playing bishop c6 or knight b6 or rook b8. But I overlooked something, so I played d4. And after knight a4, I was all set to play bishop c6. And then I realized if I play bishop c6, he plays bishop f3. I didn't see bishop f3 when I played d4. And now I'm like, oh, bishop f3. So bishop c6 is just stupid. I can't. I mean, I could just make a move that helps my position. So I made the best move, rook b8. Played bishop f3 anyway, which is a good move. Now, the Engine says what I did is correct. And it says white's +1. We get this position. Obviously, if I could cheat and take my rook and put it on b8, probably black's better. But since my rook is stuck on h8, black is much worse. Played rook h3, which is the Engine move. And now I went a little crazy because I didn't see any long-term prospects with my rook trapped on h8. And king h7, with the idea of doubling rooks, he just checks me on e4, d3, and I have to go back. So I played a move that I wouldn't recommend you do at home. g6. So opening up my king more, but now I can play king g7, rook b8, and just hope not to get crushed on the king side. Now, strangely, in this position, the Engine says the best move is queen a3, totally away from my king, and that puts pressure on the c-pawn, and more importantly, it threatens rook takes d4 because my c-pawn is pinned. Queen a3 gives white a big advantage. He played rook g3. I couldn't decide whether king g7 or king h7 was better. I think the Engine likes king g7, which was my original intention. Then I changed my mind. I played king h7. So I'm getting ready to play rook here now, and my rook's not trapped. Played queen e4, which the Engine doesn't like. It says that gives away some of his advantage. Played rook g8, which is correct. Played c3, And the engine says that's a terrible move. And the best move is to take, and the engine says it's equal. I played queen h4, which is also reasonable. And he took with check, which is correct. And in this position, he surprised me. I was worried about like rook d3. Engine says queen f3 is the best move, and that white's up point 2. But he played rook h3, which is fine. I played queen f2, threatening mate. I was the first one to threaten mate. And engine says that if trading queens is equal. And actually, I saw pretty far ahead here. Queen takes f4 is actually a mistake. So it's good I didn't play that. Because if he doubles rooks on the h file, I can't play h5 because he takes it, because my g-pawn's pinned. So after queen takes f4, the engine says he's +1. This ending is a draw. The reason it's a draw is I play the move g5. And actually, when I traded queens, I saw like the next 7 moves, because they're sort of forced. So obviously, if I take this, I'm fine. My rook is good and not down any material. So he played here. I defended my pawn. Then he relieves my defense. And in this position, I'm down a pawn, but I'm threatening g2 and e5. So I thought he would play what he did. The engine just says this is all zeros. And he played this pretty quickly. And then he played rook h5. And now I can't win either pawn. But I realized this was no problem. I go into the pawn down ending with a much better king. I take and play king e4. In this position, I mistakenly thought I was better. His rook is tied down to his pawn. If he lets me take the pawn, then potentially I have 2 past center pawns. If he does nothing, I'll play rook b8, rook g8, or rook f8. And I have a passed d pawn, and so forth. Okay, he played b3. I played rook b8. I thought I was better. And then he played rook h4 check and offered me a draw. And I thought, I can try king e3 or king takes e5. And then when I looked at them, I realized I don't have any advantage. And I could be worse. The engine actually says both of these moves draw. So if I take, he trades on d4 and plays king d3. And the problem is I can't let him take this. It's actually more accurate to check me first and then take it. If I play rook d8, that doesn't save my pawn. He checks and then takes my d pawn, and now he's playing for a win. And my rook is ridiculous on b4, but the engine says this is a draw. But I mean, like, I'm just tied down to this pawn. Seems like I don't have anything I can do. I don't have any long-term plan. The other way to play, which I thought was good, was king e3. Engine says rook h1 is also equal, which I didn't look at. I just looked at rook h3 check. Obviously, if I go back, that's just a draw. So I have to go up. And then he plays rook d3. And I'm down a pawn. The engine still says it's a draw, but it says there's only one move that draws. Otherwise, white's winning. And that move is rook c8. That way he can't take my pawn because I take with check. I mean, I'm not playing for a win here. I'm playing for a draw. So I'm down a pawn. I don't have anything I can do. So after rook h4 check, I thought I was slightly worse no matter what I did, and I could be losing, so I agreed to the draw. But the engine says it's a draw. It says I just have to defend and it's okay. But yeah, I was expecting that I have good winning chances here. After rook b8, I underestimated rook h4 check. I thought he has to stay on his pawn, and I'm gonna do stuff and such. But I didn't get to do stuff and such. So the whole game, I was never better, and I was losing or much worse most of the game. So again, not a good advertisement for the opening. I got to play better openings. Why didn't he take the pawn with pawn to open the G file? Take with pawn to open the G file. Do you mean me taking the pawn? Because then he plays rook takes h6 check. My king blocks my rook. That says white's winning there. I'm not sure what else you mean. Nothing else happens with a G pawn. When the queen was on G3, well, that was a long time ago. Engine says G takes F3 is terrible. Then it says black is slightly better. Yeah, then he can't move his queen to the queen side. So I just play king H7. And if he plays rook G1, I play rook G8. My king's safe enough. Yeah, that really ruins his pawn structure. The engine says after takes, black is slightly better. And after queen takes, white is +1. Yeah, neither one of us consider G takes very much because it's so bad for the pawn structure. Anyway, this is the final position. 200 bits from somebody. I can't see your name. I can't see your name over here either. Wow. Anyway, thanks. Is it no friction? Hey, Ferrari. Hey, Ferrari, that's the first time you've ever chatted and it didn't say you were a suspicious user. It always says you're a suspicious user. Thanks for the 200 bits. Well, I'm looking at my Charlotte games now. Don't show up an hour into the stream. We've already talked about Charlotte, and I'm showing my games. Mountain Dude subscribed at tier 1. I voted for you today, Ben. The truth hurts. That does hurt. Wait, Ferrari, you chatted again, and it said you were a suspicious user. The first time you chatted, it didn't say that. That's pretty funny. Budapest was a nice city. I enjoyed my time there. I was there for a few days, about 35 years ago? God damn. Hung out with the Polgars for an evening. I had their address somehow, so we just went to their apartment. And they were there. The hype train is incoming, but we need something to happen, like a sub or 100 bits. Then we'll have a hype train. We got 2.5 minutes to start a hype train. I'll give you guys time before the next game. Because if the train starts and I'm looking at a game, nobody donates anymore. Which isn't really different from when I'm not looking at a game, but Can't hurt. We're 17 subs away from 500. Yeah, tensor extension's right. Mountain Dude gave 200 bits. It still says hype train incoming. Somehow that didn't give us a hype train. Must have donated before. Jeff Mack gave 100 bits, and that gave us a hype train. Yay, hype. They had a Blitz tournament Saturday night, which Bortnick won 6-0, and there was a big tie for second. Naroditsky, Caden Troth, other strong players, and they won $30 each. Unrealized Reality subscribed. Thanks for supporting the stream. We're only 7% away from level 2. We have we have the technology to get to level 2. Jim Conchess gifted a sub. Hooray! Go Canada. Level 1 complete. Come on, donors and viewers. Go Twitch people. B-Dub 281 or 61. I guess it's 61. Thanks for supporting the stream. We're halfway to level 3. Technically, we're 3/4 of the way, but that's technical. You're technically correct. The best kind of correct. So I'm probably going to play in the Alto tournament in Charlotte, April 25th to 27th. It's open to players 21 years and older. And then there's Mauve. And then there's Mauve. Hello. Welcome to the stream. How did you do this time? Well, we're looking at the games now. I won the first round, and I drew the second round, and now we're looking at the third round. Bonarici's so old, He knows the results of the tournament, but he forgot. Was the third round also chess? Yes. We're going to die at level 2. We need some donors. We need somebody to give 5 subs, confusing the audience. Go hype train. It's the best kind of train, a hype train. Looks like we're going to die on level 2. But as soon as we die, then we can look at the next game. That's incentive not to donate. I think Zhu Wenjun is the favorite and she'll win. Okay, we died on level 2. I've seen worse. Okay, so I was white next round, and I'm playing somebody who's about 2100. And he played the Slav. I played Geller Gambit, which I often play on stream. I don't know a lot of theory. According to Peter Giannatos, Simon Williams recommends bishop e2. That's the new theory. b4, e5. But I played, old theory because I'm old. So I don't know the new theory. This is the old main line. Been played for decades. Have it on stream a lot. And my theoretical knowledge, which should start around here, is ending around here. And bishop e7 is the main move. My opponent played an unusual move, bishop d5. This was played in a blitz game with Hikaru Nakamura white and Magnus Carlsen black a few years ago. I actually watched that game, although I didn't remember that this is how it went. And Magnus ended up winning with black. So I guess bishop d5 is a reasonable move. Hikaru played h4. I played queen f4. Engine says is fine. Played queen d7. Engine says queen c7 is better. Now, I had to decide whether to play queen f6 or knight e4. The engine also says bishop e2 is a move, although that looks risky to give this away, but I guess bishop f3 is good. Or maybe it's not. Anyway, my move is good, knight e4. He took, which the engine agrees with. Played knight c6. Engine slightly prefers queen c6. Played bishop e2. And the engine says this is equal. Rook c8, engine recommended. h4. h5. These moves are all good. Now I played a move the engine doesn't like. It says I should either castle or play rook a6. I played bishop g5. Now, Engine says black's better slightly if he plays bishop e7, but he played knight e7. And once again, Engine does not approve of what I did. I played bishop f6, which is Engine approved. And then here I made a move the Engine doesn't like. But I was worried if his knight got to d5 that his knight is just too strong. He can get rid of my bishop anyway. He's threatening knight takes c3. Knight's really good on d5. And I don't have any way to, bust open the position. So I took. Now it says I'm slightly worse. And this game was very confusing to me because I never knew the evaluation. I'm sitting here going, I don't know. Maybe I'm better. Maybe he's better. And then starting from here, every move my opponent made surprised me, except the last move. And I didn't know if the moves were no good or I'm no good because I didn't expect any of his moves. But at some point, I didn't like my position. Like here, I thought you play bishop takes e7 without thinking. But he thought for several minutes. He played king takes e7. Confusing the audience. So now I thought I was much better because I played rook to a6. And I didn't understand king takes e7, although I understand it now. Now, I was worried the whole game that he would play b4, and this is the first position that I wasn't worried about it because he blocked his bishop. I don't know why he played king takes e7. I'm just sitting here confused, but I like my position. Then he played the best move, b4. And here I made a mistake. Engine says I'm better if I play queen f4, or I could castle. Then I'm very slightly better. But I was so confused by b4, I just took it. And now Engine says it's equal. And he played c3, which is not a good move. He should play either bishop g7 or bishop h6. And I castled. And then he played a move I didn't look at all. And then I got really worried. Played bishop h6. And I was like, God damn. I didn't see bishop h6 ever. Like when he played it, I was like, what? I'm like, damn, he's going to queen his pawn. So I thought a very long time here. Engine says I'm better if I play rook d6 and then b5 and let him play c2 because I have rook c6. I don't know. It seems very suspicious to me. Pawn seems like it's queening really fast. Anyway, I played bishop d3. Now the Engine says I'm very slightly better. And in this position, I just thought I was worse. And all of my analysis was incorrect. I thought I'm losing my d pawn. I thought this pawn's very strong. I thought if we ever traded queens, we're in an endgame where he has a strong passed pawn and I don't. So I played the correct move, rook fa1, and I offered a draw. And I thought he would just play rook c7, and then I don't know what to do about queen takes d4 or c2, c1. And the Engine says rook c7 is terrible. The best move in this position I never would have considered, and that's queen d5. So I offered a draw, and he took it pretty quickly, and I was relieved because I thought I was in trouble. And then when I looked with the Engine, it said, no, you're better. So rook c7 is a mistake because I play rook d6 and then queen f3, threatening queen f6 check. And then after bishop g7, which I always thought he would play if I put my queen on the f file, then it says queen f4, threatening queen g5. The engine says I'm +2 here. The best move is queen d5, then it's about equal. Queen takes d4, which I also thought was possible, loses immediately. Rook takes, and then I thought after king f8, queen b7, he would play queen f4, but the engine says g3 just wins. His queen can't stay on his f-pawn. And if he plays rook d7, I just take his queen. So this is just winning. He can't play queen takes d4. So I think if I didn't offer a draw, I would have won the game. But I thought I was worse. I thought queen take d4 was reasonable. I thought rook c7 was the best. And it turns out rook c7, I'm +2. Queen takes d4, loses immediately. And best move is queen e8, queen d5. The second best move is king e8. So now I see why he took the draw, because the engine actually likes my position. But during the game, I was like, this pawn's very strong. This pawn's going to fall. I don't have any prospects. I can't. Trade queens, I can't do anything. Pawns are all weak. So I misunderstood the position, and I was happy he took the draw until I looked at it with an engine. Then I was mad that I offered a draw. So the lesson is never offer a draw. Or understand chess better. Maybe that's the lesson. This game was too complicated for me. And I got very perplexed because in this position, I didn't look at king takes e7. I didn't look at b4. I did think he might play c3. I didn't see bishop h6. And I thought he would play rook gd8. So like half of his moves surprised me, and I started liking his position. So that's why I offered a draw. Do you lose points if you draw against lower rated players? Obviously. I've made no friends along the way. That's the problem. I'm one of the most hated grandmasters. I think I'm top 5 in the world of hated grandmasters. Most grandmasters aren't hated. You gain points if you beat a lower rated player, but if they're too lower rated, then you don't. So I might have gained 1 point if I won, but I don't care about my rating. My rating is hundreds of points worse than it used to be. Now I play chess to play chess and have some content. I'm not trying to get my rating up. Rating is no good. Well, obviously, people are going to like me more on my stream than not on my stream. If you go to other streams, like Hans Niemann's stream, Nakamura's stream, Gotham Chess stream, and type in the chat, what do you think of Ben Feingold? You'll get a lot of hate. No, I mean, the players themselves don't hate me, just their followers do. Eric Rosen's stream, they don't hate anybody. Oh, the Democrat won in Wisconsin, even though it was purple. You know, it's a double-edged sword. You could argue, and I don't know what the numbers are, but you could argue if Elon Musk is pulling for you and campaigning for you, that hurts you. Most people don't like Elon Musk, so might have been better for him to stay out of it, and then nobody would know. If you like autistic people, Arctic Bear, you should go to OTB tournaments. Yeah, I didn't understand what was going on, but oh, this microphone's way up and nobody said anything. Wonder why it was so high up. I don't know if anybody said anything about this. I'm new. There was a press conference that seemed like it was, in the Oval Office or something. And standing next to Trump was some guy dressed as a clown. I didn't understand that. And then in another press conference, Trump was complaining that people are treating Musk and Tesla unfairly, but he kept calling Tesla Tesla. He said Tesla like 3 times. So I think he forgot the name of the company and thought it was Tesla. The game was too exciting. Stop the game. Anyway, my opponent's name, which I never mentioned, is Nathan Payton. So his name sort of rhymes. I'm starting to think everybody's autistic, especially at chess tournaments. Okay, let's go to the next game. I only won 2 games in this tournament, and both were with my not usual starting move, e4. It's a 5-round tournament. You'd think Bonarici would know that since he knows the results. But he's too old. Okay, so my opponent's Beiying Ni. He's 2080. I played him in the last Charlotte tournament and we drew. So this is revenge for somebody. I don't know, revenge for me or revenge for him. I played e4 again. And then he played d6, unlike my round one opponent played e6. So I played the queen takes d4 line. And there's a really long, tricky line that I know that's not very theoretical. And usually my opponents avoid it. And then I'm sitting here confused. What happened this game? In this position, 90% of people take with the bishop. That's the line that I know. But he took with the pawn, so I was already on my own. But I played fine. I castle, that's fine. Queen d3 is best. c4 is probably the best. I mean, I played fine this game. Engine wants me to play bishop g5 or b4. Says I'm slightly better. Played h3 and then b3. And the reason I played b3 is I thought his only counterplay was to play d5. So I wanted my bishop on b2 so that e5 would be weak if he ever played d5. And I thought if he never played d5, then, I have a bind. Okay, now he played a move that you shouldn't try at home. If he just castles, the engine says this is equal. Hopefully I'm the better player, higher rated. The better player should win equal position. But he played g5. Engine doesn't like very much. And now, although I thought about this move earlier, I decided not to do it ever. Now the engine wants me to play c5 because he played g5 and try to open up the center at the cost of a pawn. His pawn structure is really bad. And so the engine says c5 is the best move and white's up 0.4. I played knight e2 because I saw the juicy f5 square and I wanted to get the juicer over to f5, knight g3, then this knight could go to e3 and f5, or I could play knight h2, knight f1, knight e3, or knight d2, knight f1, knight e3. So I wanted to get both of my knights in position to go to f5. Okay, in this position, I expected my opponent to play knight h5, and the engine says knight h5 is the best. Played g4, which is second best. Then he immediately took with the knight, which slightly surprised me, and I played knight g3. Now the engine says I'm up 0.5. And just like my last opponent, now he started playing moves I didn't look at all. So I guess he was worried I would play c5. I thought he would play h5, h4, which is what the engine says. He played c5, I thought was bad. Engine says it's bad. Okay, and I played knight f5, which is fine. He played a strange move, queen c6. I guess the idea is he wants to take and play e4. Anyway, I played rook e1. Later, I want to move my knight and play f4. So I want my rooks on e1 and f1. My rook on a1 doesn't really do anything on the queen side. But if I play f4, then both of my rooks are on the correct squares. And this way, I prevent him from playing bishop takes f5 and e4. Played rook g8. That's fine. I thought about playing knight h4 but I thought it was better to make his king move. So I took and then played knight h4. And Engine says I'm up 0.6, 0.7. I have a better pawn structure. I have a safer king. He has a lot of weak squares. He has 2 isolated pawns. My pawn structure is intact. And here he made a terrible blunder, which is quite funny. His rating was 2,080. Also a kid, obviously. Probably 14 or 15, I guess. Can anybody guess the blunder that Black played here? Queen d5 is certainly a blunder. Bishop Star's got it. It's got to be f6. So I assume, I didn't ask him, I assume he thought I was going to play f4, which I wasn't, but I would eventually. And then he played f6 to bolster his center. But actually, if I play f4, assuming it's my move, then he can play f6. So I was going to play f3, attacking his knight, and when his knight goes to f6, then play f4. So his e-pawn is more loose. But he played f6, which confused me. And if your opponent plays f6, the only winning move is f3. Bam! Proving all my rules or disproving them. f3 refuting f6. I have to start a new rule. Never play f3 unless your opponent plays f6 first. Then play f3. I thought me playing the game, it was funny that f6 loses to f3. Yeah, he just got rid of the retreat square for his knight because he was expecting f4 and I guess didn't look at f3. Pretty bad blunder for somebody that rating. Okay, so he played h5 and we traded some pieces. He threatened my g2 pawn. I defended it. And he played h4. And in this position, I calculated really far ahead. And luckily, my calculation was right. And I won the game very quickly. I should win eventually. The Engine wants me to play king h2 to get off of the g file. I'm sure I considered. But I played rook e to f2. Not really worried about h3 because I can take it with the queen. Now I want to take on f6. And he very quickly played the move that I analyzed the most. He could take on e4, but f6 is hanging. And I am up a bishop, so he probably doesn't want to trade queens. Anyway, he made a mistake. He played rook 8 to g6. And now I can ask the chat, what's the best move for white? Yeah, you have my permission to rickroll everybody. Yeah. Nobody resigns when they're a piece down to me. They've seen me play before. Most of the moves suggested are shallow and pedantic. Rook h5 is the second best move. But it's not spectacular like what I played. My move was real and it's spectacular. One person put the right move in the chat. I don't know if he calculated and he's a strong master or he blundered. I can't tell. Or used an engine. Well, all these things are possible. Okay, so the best move, which I calculated when I played here, that if he played here, I could take. Cute Kitty Cat 2 subscribed. Good, good. Fen Beingold subscribed at tier 3, doubling the income for our stream. Thanks, Fen Beingold. Subscribing at tier 3 is good when I just played Rook takes f6. See if you guys can figure out the complications. That's right, Fen Beingold. Man, Nightbot's not letting you rickroll anybody. Okay, so my opponent took, and then as people have pointed out in the chat, if king takes, I check. If rook f4, I can take it. And if king g5, then I check and take the rook. So in this position, my opponent played rook takes e4. And in this position, when I played here, I already saw rook takes e4. And I already had a move against it. So what was the move that I played? Bishop e4 is illegal. Rook f3 and rook f1 are shallow and pedantic. Queen takes d6 does win, but it wins for black. Contango just suggesting every legal move. Yeah, a couple people in the chat got it. Rook takes d6. Bam. I already saw that a few moves ago. Anybody who said a move that's not rook takes d6 is banned. It's tough but fair. That's right. Louise Axe is right. Unbanned if you donate. Okay, so the idea is if he takes my rook, I take his rook. Other idea is if he plays rook e1 check, I play king f2, attacking his rook, and I'm attacking his queen, and then I'm just a piece up for no pawns once he trades. So he played queen takes instead of resigning. In this position, I thought he would resign because it's pretty resignable. But again, people don't resign against me when they're down a piece. Man, I must have a bad reputation. Like 30, 40 years ago, if I was up a piece, people resigned. And I used to be good. Now I'm so bad, they're like, I don't know, maybe Ben will mess it up. He played king e6, and I checked, and then he resigned. So that was my best game, I think, of the tournament. For those of you who showed up late, Archer gained 35 rating points. His rating was 1920. Now it's 1955. He beat a 2200, he beat a 2070, and he drew a 2070. So he had a good tournament. 500 bits from Fen Beingold. Yeah, that happened in December at the World Blitz. Yeah, US chess ratings, yeah. He's close to expert. In the last round, Archer played a giant. He was too tall not to ask him how tall he was. And luckily I'm a grandmaster, so I can talk to people and they don't say, go fuck off. They're like, all right, you're grandmaster, I'll talk to you. So when the game ended, I said, I have a friend who says nobody's taller than him, my friend 6'5". And I said, but you're taller than him. How tall are you? And he said, my goal is to be the tallest national master in the U.S. And he's like 2070. So he wants to get his rating up to 2200. So he's the tallest national master. Anyway, he's 6'7". And I told him there is a master who's 6'7". And funnily enough, his name is Small, Greg Small. The tallest U.S. grandmaster's name is Small. And tall was short, and short is tall. Right, and Solomon might be a master, and he knows who Solomon is. I knew who Solomon was when he was 13. He was offered to play basketball in Europe, but he decided not to do that. Yeah, Solomon's 7 feet tall. When Solomon was like 13 or 14, he was like 6'7", crazy. Okay, last round. I have black. Okay, I'm playing James Chirilov, also a kid, and his rating, US rating, is 2350. Okay, we played a Sicilian, and in this position, I almost always play e6, but in my Sicilian Chessable course, I recommend knight f6, and I played that in the other tournament in Charlotte in January. That was the only game I won. So I figured, all right, I'll play knight f6. I played e6 in Charlotte 2 months ago, and I was like lucky to draw. Okay, we played a main line, and I've played this on stream, and nobody's ever played the main line, which is to take and take. My opponent did. And this is in my chessable course. This is all in the chessable course. And in this position, I recommend a line for black, which equalizes, but I couldn't remember it because I wrote the course 2 years ago. So here I made a big mistake. The best move for black, which is in my course, is G6. And that's the move that everybody plays. And I give a line in my chessable course and say it's equal. But I couldn't remember that, so I played queen e5, which is terrible. Then I played bishop e7, which is correct. Then I castled. Engine wants me to play f6. That's how dire it is. Yeah, now it says he's +2. Now it says he's +2.5. Now it wants him to play bishop d2 so he can play bishop c3. Which makes sense. Played queen f2, which surprised me. I played f5, which is correct. And then I played bishop e6, which the engine doesn't like. It says I should play rook e8 or queen f6. But I want to develop my pieces. And in this position, the engine prefers rook f d8 to rook f e8. So I played the wrong move. I liked rook f e8, but I guess I'm wrong. I didn't want to block my rook out of the game. Queen f6, correct. Now it says he's +1. Yeah, in this position, I made a small mistake. I should play queen h4, and I know I saw queen h4 because I was thinking about queen h4. I don't know why I didn't play it. Because I was worried about knight h5 attacking my queen and then knight f4, and somehow I forgot about queen h4. After queen h4, it says he's up like half a pawn. So I played queen g6. Now it says he's almost +1. Played knight e2, which I expected. Bishop d6 is okay. And in this position, I can play queen h6 or bishop takes knight. I wasn't in the mood for queen h6. That just seemed wrong. So I took. Then I played the best move, bishop d7. Now, in this position, he made a small mistake. He should play bishop e5. He took on c5. And then engine says these moves are correct. Says this is all fine. I was happy to get this position because I'm probably not going to get mated anymore. It says he's up 0.6. Yeah, nothing much happened. It says he's up 0.5. I didn't see how he could break through, so I just moved around. Now it says he's up 0.3. And in this position, it says it's about equal if I play queen h5 or c4. I played bishop e8. Now it says he's slightly better. And now it says it's equal. It says d4 is no good. And then here, I made double question mark move. I sort of relaxed. I thought the worst was over. This is a draw. I was probably losing before. And basically, I'm right. You can't argue. I was probably losing before. Now this is a draw. And any normal move draws, including trapping my queen with queen a2. I thought after b3, my queen would be out of play, and, he might get his queen to g7 or might take on f6. My queen's just trapped on a2. But engine says queen takes a2 is equal. It says king d8 is also equal. I just made a horrible blunder here. This was probably my worst move of the tournament, although I made another really bad move later. I played queen e6, and after about 10 seconds, I was like, oh my God, he plays queen a6. Queen e6 is just double question mark. But the engine says he's only plus 0.8. But I mean, not seeing queen a6 is crazy. And he played queen a6. And now I was pretty sure I was lost. And in 2 moves, I was equal. So I played queen e4, which is correct. And in this position, he checked, which is correct. And here, he played queen b5, which is fine. And then here he made a mistake. He played queen takes b6, which is a terrible move. Now it says it's equal, except I didn't play the equal move. I didn't take this with check, which doesn't make any sense. Obviously, I should take that with check. And then I thought he would play king g3. Then I played bishop c6, and I'm threatening this. I'm only down a pawn. Engine just says this is a draw. It says white's not even better. So his queen takes b6 was a blunder. We were in time trouble. I played bishop c6 right away, which is terrible. Terrible move. And then, yeah, taking this was correct. Bishop e4 is fine. And king c8 is a big mistake. I should play king d6, walking into his queen and bishop. And he's still plus 2.2. Yeah, the problem is I can't go to the back rank because he plays queen f8 check, and then queen g7 check. So I played here, which is fine. He's plus 5 now. And I shouldn't play bishop c6. Oh no, actually bishop c6 is fine. Okay, in this position, I had 5 seconds left. And my intention when I played bishop c6 was to check and then take the pawn on h6. Which, I mean, obviously is losing, but, okay, take a pawn. Then I realized after queen g1 check, he can play queen f1 check, or queen h1 check. He plays queen f1 check, which I missed. Then I'm down 3 connected passed pawns. So I resigned, and the engine says he's plus 6. So it seems reasonable. However, I realized after the game that the engine doesn't play queen f1. It plays king d2, letting me take with check. If I thought he was going to move his king, I wouldn't have resigned. I resigned because I'm down 3 pawns for nothing. But this is not easy to win. In fact, I don't know if it's winning, which is a weird thing to say. I'm down 3 pawns because I keep attacking his pawns and then I just block them all. The engine says he's winning, but I don't know if it's that easy. Probably is. But if I thought this was tough to win, I wouldn't have resigned. But I think this is tough to win. I mean, I just block all 3 of his pawns with my king and bishop, and he'll have to do some rigmarole, to get something going. Of course, he's more winning if he doesn't play queen f1 and just moves his king. And we have the queen and bishop ending where he has 3 connected passed pawns. My pawn's not dangerous. It's not advanced. So this is like +6, and this is only like +3. So if I thought I had any drawing chances in the bishop and pawn ending, which I did not, I wouldn't have resigned. But I had to make a move in 5 seconds, and I decided my move wasn't going to be queen h1, which is that was my idea. And then I was like, well, I'm down 3 pawns for nothing, and my king's no good. Now, I probably would have lost, but I shouldn't have resigned. In one of the games, I shouldn't have offered a draw, etc. Then, my opponent complimented me after the game because the last 15 moves, he wasn't keeping notation because we both had less than 5 minutes. And I was keeping notation, and I said, do you want to use my notation and fill out the game when the game ended? And he said, yeah, thanks. He was like real happy that I let him fill out the score sheet. I mean, he could have asked that I have to give him the score sheet, or the director would. But I offered because I noticed he hadn't kept score. And usually, when grandmasters lose to kids, we break everything and swear at our opponent. But I'm not like that, so I told him, you want to fill out your score sheet and get the result of the game? I figure he doesn't beat grandmasters very often, so he should have a complete score of the game. He's watching the stream right now. It's possible. Unlikely. So that was my tournament. I lost in the last round. If I had won the last round, I was never better, then I would have tied for third, and I would have won 166 according to Bonarici. I don't know if that's true, but Bonarici is a plethora of information. So if Bonarici says that, I believe him. Yeah, now, some of you weren't here at the beginning of the stream, because I said this before we were on Chess TV. My tournament obviously wasn't great. I drew 2 low-rated players and I lost to a low-rated player. But, god damn, Zapata lost to 3 little kids. One of them was 8, for sure, he's 8. The other 2, I don't know how old they were. I'm going to guess they were 10. And there's no way they were 12. So if I'm wrong about them being 10, they're 9 or 11. But I think they were 10. But he definitely lost to an 8-year-old. God damn. So Zapata had a worse tournament than I did. Hello. Yeah, Bonarici, your understanding of kids playing chess is wrong. Your understanding of kids playing chess is how it was 40 years ago. Now kids just play good. They're not impatient. They don't play endgames badly. They're just good. The kids are just better than adults. But 40 years ago, those stereotypes of kids were correct. But they're not correct now. Now everybody in the open section is a little kid, and they all beat GMs and IMs. Was she happy with her tournament? Who's she? Dina? I guess so. She lost to Elshan with the black pieces, and she drew an 1800 in the first round, but she won 3 games. The last round, she beat the 8-year-old that beat Zapata, and that was a really tough game. That game could have gone either way. Yeah, Zapata lost to three little kids. Now, Zapata's a lot older than I am. I think he's 64 or 65. I'm only 55. So Zapata plays better than I do when I'm going to be 65. God damn. I'm going to play like crap. Yeah, if you take all of Zapata's opponents, they were younger than him, added up, which may be the case for me. 13 times 5 is 65. No, my opponents were older than me if you add them all up. But Zapata's opponents were not. If you add all of Zapata's opponents up, Zapata's older. Let's see, I think Karen said something. And that was my games. Well, I did better than my last tournament because in my first Charlotte tournament this year, I won 1 game out of 6. Here I won 2 games out of 5. So I'm hoping in the next tournament, like if it's Alto, I'll win 3 games out of 4. That's how the progression should go. Or I guess it's a 5-round tournament. So winning 3 games would be good anyway. But I won't play any kids. Are you taking Archer to see the Minecraft movie? No. Although I might, but I didn't have any plans to. His dad might take him to see it. I guess I'll raid Naroditsky. He was there playing in the Blitz tournament. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for all your donations, especially Fen Beingold. Okay, I'll see you guys Thursday or Friday on the stream. Thanks for watching, everybody.